The midday sun streamed gently through the tall windows of the grand dining hall, filling the room with a golden light that made the polished glasses and white tablecloths sparkle. It was a place of quiet elegance, filled with the soft hum of wealthy families, important businessmen, and polite laughter. But in the middle of all this grandeur, a storm was about to break, one that would change lives forever. A fragile old woman in an emerald dress, carrying the heavy weight of many years of sadness in her heart, looked up at the young waitress pouring water, and in that single look she froze. Her hand, trembling, reached out as if by instinct. Her lips parted, unable to believe what she was seeing. Her eyes filled with tears as she whispered words that cut through the quiet room like thunder. "You have my daughter's eyes." At the exact same moment, a powerful billionaire sitting at the next table grabbed his chest, his face twisted in pain, and he collapsed to the floor. The young waitress was named Clara. She was barely 21 and had been working 2 shifts a day to pay for her school and take care of her younger brother, who was sick at home. Life had never been kind to her. Her father had left the family before she was born, and her mother passed away when Clara was just a child. She was left with only broken memories and a deep ache she had learned to hide behind a polite smile. Every day she walked into the restaurant, carrying trays that felt heavier than her small shoulders could handle, but her spirit had learned to be strong. Still, deep inside her, there was always a question she could never answer. Who am I really? Why do I feel like something important has been missing my whole life? On that bright afternoon, as she bent down to place a glass of water on the table, she never expected her entire world to be turned upside down. The elderly woman staring at her was Eleanor Whitmore, a woman known for her grace and her tragic story. Decades ago, Eleanor had lost her only daughter Isabel in a car accident, or so she had been told. The sadness from that day left deep scars that even her wealth and high status could not heal. Her pearls and emerald dress shined in the daylight, but her heart was full of dark shadows from the past. And yet, when she saw Clara's face, her world stopped. Those eyes, hazel with little green flecks, were the same as Isabel's. They brought back memories of lullabies, laughter, and the smile of a daughter she had mourned for so many years. Eleanor's trembling fingers gently cupped Clara's face, her voice shaking with both shock and pain. The entire room fell into a stunned silence. Diners looked up from their meals, confused by the sudden, intense moment. Some whispered, others just stared, feeling that something huge and life-changing was happening right in front of them. And then, just as the air grew thick with emotion, Richard Alcott, one of the richest men in the city and Eleanor's lifelong family friend, stumbled from his chair. His hand was pressed hard against his chest. His face was pale, his body shook, and within seconds he fell to the ground. Panic broke out. People rushed to help. Waiters shouted for an ambulance, and chairs scraped loudly across the polished floor. But Eleanor stayed locked on Clara, tears streaming down her cheeks as if she were afraid the young woman would disappear if she looked away. Clara, shaken to her very core, didn't know what to do or say. The billionaire's collapse added to the chaos. Yet all she could feel was the old woman's desperate grip and those words repeating in her ears. "You have my daughter's eyes." As paramedics rushed in to help Richard, the dining hall lost all its glamour. The world of fine dining and crystal chandeliers suddenly felt weak, as if fate had pulled back a curtain to show the hidden truths underneath. Richard was taken away, barely awake, his breathing weak. But Eleanor refused to let go of Clara's hand. She begged her to sit down, her voice breaking as she spoke of Isabel, of the car crash that was supposed to have killed her, and of the long years of sadness that followed. Clara's heart pounded in her chest. None of this made any sense. Her mother's name had not been Isabel. Her mother was a quiet woman named Marlene, who never talked about her past, never showed any family photos, and died taking her secrets with her. Could it be possible that everything Clara believed about her own life was a lie? Over the next few days, the story came out in pieces, like a broken mirror being slowly put back together. Eleanor visited Clara, bringing old photographs, family papers, and memories that painted a sad and shocking picture. Clara's mother, Marlene, was actually Isabel, Eleanor's daughter. She had survived the accident but chose to disappear. She had been pregnant at the time and was too scared to return to the world that had almost destroyed her. She wanted to protect her child from the pressures of wealth and powerful family. So, she started a new life in hiding, giving her daughter a chance to grow up free, even if it meant cutting herself off from her own family. Clara was the grandchild Eleanor had been grieving for without ever knowing she existed. At the same time, Richard's collapse revealed another shocking truth. For decades, he had been keeping a huge secret. He was the one who knew Isabel had survived, but he had kept it hidden for reasons only he understood. His heart attack wasn't just a medical problem. It was the heavy weight of his guilt finally crushing him after years of silence. As he lay in his hospital bed, recovering slowly, his eyes no longer held the pride of a billionaire. Instead, they showed regret, deep sadness, and a desperate hope that he could be forgiven. Clara was torn. She felt betrayed by the lies that had shaped her entire life, but she was also overwhelmed by the idea of having a family she never knew. Eleanor's tears were real, and her hugs were filled with the warmth that Clara had wanted since she was a little girl. But accepting this new truth meant she had to rewrite her whole life story. Could she forgive the secrecy? Could she love a grandmother who had lived in luxury while she struggled to buy medicine for her brother? These questions weighed heavily on her heart. Yet as days turned into weeks, something began to shift. Eleanor didn't just want to claim Clara as her granddaughter. She wanted to know her, to understand the young woman she had been kept from for all these years. She visited the small apartment Clara shared with her brother, sat at their simple table, and listened to stories of their difficult life and their strength. She held Clara's brother's hand when he coughed, promising to make sure he got the best medical care he needed. For the first time, Eleanor let go of her wealthy image and just became a grandmother, desperate to make things right. Richard also began a slow change. With every visit from Clara, he confessed more of the past. He spoke of his love for Isabel, his wrong decision to protect her by hiding her survival, and his failure to bring her back to her mother before it was too late. His tears were not from pride, but from surrender, a final admission that all his billions could not fix what he had broken, and yet Clara's presence seemed to breathe new life into him. She reminded him of the innocence he had once betrayed and gave him a small, fragile chance to find redemption. Clara herself grew stronger through it all. She realized that her life had been built on her ability to keep going, not on money, and that her value came from the choices she made every day, not from secrets or family names. Still, she allowed her heart to soften. She began to accept the family that was reaching out to her, not as rich strangers, but as people who had also suffered and wanted to heal. One sunny afternoon, months after that fateful day in the restaurant, the three of them sat together in Eleanor's beautiful garden. The flowers swayed gently in the breeze, and for the first time, there was laughter instead of tears. Clara's brother ran across the green lawn, much healthier now, his laughter sounding like a song of hope. Eleanor held Clara's hand, her eyes shining not with sadness, but with thankfulness. Richard sat quietly, watching them with a smile that spoke of peace, finally letting go of the burden he had carried for decades. And Clara knew in that moment that life has a strange way of weaving broken pieces together into something more beautiful than anyone could have imagined. The past was painful. The secrets were heavy. But the present was alive with second chances, forgiveness, and a love so strong it could heal even the deepest wounds.